Hi, this is Tim with SmallScaleRC.com, and we are reviewing the Carisma GT24T monster truck. Now, if you've seen our unboxing of this, you know most of the details already. It's a 1/24th scale, uh, brushless powered mini monster truck. Very fast machine, very fun to drive. I've been having an absolute blast with it the last few weeks. Um, we've got the controller here that comes with it. Yes, that is the controller that comes with this model. It might be one of the best controllers I've ever held and used. We'll get to that later. The GT24T has been a blast to drive. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's so fun. It's so fun to drive. Um, and we'll go into some of the reasons why it's so fun to drive in just a little bit. I do want to thank Carisma for sending this model my way to review. They also sent their GT24B buggy, which I'm in the process of reviewing as well. If you're interested in seeing the written review for this, you can head to smallscalerc.com and you'll find the somewhat lengthy written review. For those that would rather sit back and listen or watch, here's this review for you. Now, the GT24T is an amazing little machine. We'll get the remote out of the way for a moment, and we'll get the car back in focus. Sometimes smaller scale vehicles can get a little bit of a bad rap, or you have preconceived notions that they're not going to live up to your internal hype or what you think they'll be able to do. And I am fully guilty of thinking that way in the past. When I got into the hobby, I didn't want to get a small scale vehicle. I wanted to get a big 1/10 scale or 1/8 scale vehicle. Nothing small like this. But then I got into the small scale vehicles and the small scale hobby grade machines where you can change out the wheels, change out the motors, change up the gearing, change out the suspension, change almost every component on this vehicle. And this vehicle, it checks all those marks. You can do all that with this. Once you get into those machines, your perception of small scale RC machines is going to change greatly. They are incredibly fun to drive. They're amazing because you can take them anywhere. That's probably why I love them the most. I don't always have time to pack up my 1/10 scale stuff and head out to a trail or head out to a park. But this thing I can throw in a bag, throw the controller in a bag, throw some batteries in, and just take it with me. If I find a spot on the way to work or during my lunch break, I can take it out and drive it. Some smaller or slower vehicles like trail rigs you can take and actually drive in your office if you want, depending on where you work. So that's another really cool thing about these machines. You can drive them anywhere. They are relatively budget friendly, depending on the vehicle that you're looking at. This one actually comes in two different varieties or two different options. Carisma offers a battery included and a no battery included model. The difference in price is $10. But that's the price of the model. When you get into the shipping cost, there you're going to pay a little bit more in shipping and handling for the battery included model. So Carisma sent me a no battery included model that runs $99 and change. The battery included model is $109.99 plus shipping. And again, you're paying shipping for the other model as well. But with these coming from overseas, you're going to be paying a little bit more price because they do come with a LiPo battery, or the models that are battery included come with a LiPo battery. So let's dig into this model a little bit closer. So if you notice, the body does not have any holes or body pins sticking out of it. That's really cool. The body is held on by some Velcro tabs on the side of the machine, which is a very nice little feature. I like it. We ran this thing hard, indoors, outdoors, you name it. My kids had a shot at it as well. The body stayed on. On a couple occasions, the body got a little cattywampus. We landed some jumps a little off balance, but nothing that caused the battery to fully eject itself from those Velcro strips. So it holds on very, very well. So the chassis and the underlying components that you're going to find on this machine are the exact same components that you're going to find on the other GT24 models from Carisma. So there really isn't much differentiation between the four models that they have, with a few differences. The main differences on this are going to be the tire and the wheel. They're all the same size. The buggy has larger rear wheels and smaller fronts. Body is held on a little bit different way with the monster truck. Again, you have the Velcro here. You've got a wing on the buggy and the truggy vehicle, but everything else is the same steering components are a little bit different, but you're going to get the same basic friction shocks stock, and you're going to get the same basic chassis layout. So really there's not much to this vehicle, which I don't mind. Going from 1/10 scale crawling rigs to something like this, it's a little bit of a breath of fresh air. There's really, not much of a hassle to it. The battery compartment slides off. There you pop in your battery, plug it in, put the casing back on, turn it on, and you're off to the races. I like the suspension on this quite a bit. It is friction suspension out of the box, stock. You can get stiffer or softer springs if you'd like. You can also get some oil-filled shocks from Carisma's website, and again, the springs are also available from that website as well. And they do have some other optional hop-ups, such as body mounts and suspension mounts and things like that. But stock, it's a fun machine to drive. I had just an absolute blast running this indoors primarily. We did take it outside for a little bit to a local park, and my kids had a great time ripping around in it. It goes through grass fairly well. There was some grass with quite a few leaves in it that we were able to get through it, but it bogged up a little bit. Otherwise, pavement, gravel, sand, it can handle just about anything you throw at it. So the machine itself, very, very fun and very, very fast, and that comes from the brushless motor. And the power for the Carisma GT24T comes from a brushless 8,000 kV motor. There is an optional 12,000 kV motor you can get as an upgrade. The 8,000 stock motor will run on both 1S and 2S LiPo. The 2S LiPo, you will need to get a charger with a balance cable or ability to balance charge. Otherwise, the 1S LiPo battery you can charge with the included USB charger that comes with the model. Now, I brought this remote back into view because I want to talk about it for a while. Sorry, car. We're going to push you off to the side. The remote that's included, and I teased this up front, this might be the best remote I've ever held. And I'm not just saying that. This might be the best remote, the best feeling remote, the best handling remote that I've ever held. It's lightweight, but it's not too lightweight. Yes, it's all plastic. It has a slight toy-like feel to it, but it doesn't feel like a toy. There's just enough heft to make this thing feel substantial. The steering is just tremendous. It has a great amount of snapback to it. Adjustability is pretty much everything you're going to need out of a model like this. It is a 2-channel. You don't really need much more than that for this smaller scale vehicle. I can't say enough about this remote. It's just been an absolute blast to use. I had a good time using it. I handed it off to my kids. They had a great time using it. We didn't really futz with much of the trim. We just kind of established a nice baseline, and off we went. So as far as controllers go, this is one of the best I've ever seen, especially for something that comes with a small scale vehicle. A lot of times you don't really know what you're going to get with a ready to run, no matter what the scale is, and sometimes the small scale remote or small scale vehicles come with smaller scale remotes. This is not small scale, and I will stop talking about this right now because I clearly have quite an attraction to that CTX 8000. So I'll bring this review to a close. I love this machine. I popped the battery in for the first time. I had a grin on my face for about an hour, maybe more afterwards. It was just so much fun to drive indoors, outdoors, to jump, to do wheelies, you name it. It's just a fun machine to just go out and have a good time, or give it to your kids and have them go out and rip around with it. And I'm sure you'll have a smile on your face watching them drive it as much as maybe you would have if you were driving it, because I know that's what I've experienced myself. Just a tremendous machine, a fun machine to drive. Again, cost I think is very reasonable for what you're getting for a brushless powered vehicle. Regardless of the scale, you get a tremendous feeling, comfortable controller. For $100 or under $100, depending on which model you get, I think it's a perfect machine to, stocking stuffer, Christmas gift, birthday gift, whatever. Just a gift. Tremendous, good fun, great fun, awesome machine. I really can't say enough good things about it. When you do take it outside, it's going to seem like it loses a bit of speed, and that's really not the case. I do want to talk about that because I know I experienced it myself. When you're driving it indoors, you're in a lot less. You have a lot less room to roam. Let's just put it that way. So you're going to the vehicle looks like it's going a lot faster than it really is. When you get it outside, it seems like it's missing a step or two, and that's not the case. It still is fast. It still is fun to drive. I will say some bigger jumps outdoors really showcased how bouncy the suspension is. I'll just kind of demonstrate that here. And that's not really an accurate representation of it either. But the springs, if you want to tune those up a little bit, again, Carisma does provide accessories to help you fine tune and get some additional handling performance out of this model. In closing, just a tremendous machine. I can't say anything more about this. My kids love driving it. I love driving it. If you were into small scale vehicles, this is definitely a model to check out. You can find out more about this model at carisma-shop.com, or you can always head over to rcnoob.com, read our review, and we've got links to this model in that review as well. So thank you for watching this video. Please do give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you really like the video and the channel, do subscribe to the RC Noob YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate that. For more information on all things radio control, head over to rcnoob.com or to smallscalerc.com, depending on whether you are into any kind of scale vehicle or you lean more toward the smaller scale end of things. We cover just about everything on both sites. So until next time, this has been Tim with smallscalerc.com. We'll talk with you later.